welcome to Books and Bubbly. This is the complimentary playlist to my wine club, except here I talk about good books that I loved while I drink some bubbly. So today we're actually looking at two books as they're part of a series, but these are books that I can return to time and time again when I need a good laugh or want to read something that I know is going to leave me in a good mood. So we are talking about Risa Green's Notes from the Underbelly and Tales from the Crib. And as you can kind of tell from my much abused copies, I have read these several times, and obviously I will be spoiling things from these books, but seeing as Tales from the Crib came out in 2006, I feel pretty safe in revealing spoilers. So here we go. So these two books follow our protagonist, Laura Stone, LA mom-to-be, and her husband, Andrew. I'm not a mother myself, but I really loved reading about Laura's journey with her pregnancy and, in the second book, motherhood. She's honest about her struggles with her pregnancy and the changes that it will bring to her life, and at first, she's not really bonding with her daughter as well as she thought she would. And while I don't have that same life experience, I'm there for every second of it. So what do I really love about these books? I really love the protagonist. I love Laura. I identify with her really strongly. I love and identify with her sarcasm, her inability to let small things go, her desire for things to be just so, and just her overall character. She can be kind of uptight about things, and I totally get it. On the one hand, I wish we had more books in this series, as she's so funny and I love every book that I've read with her in it. But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad the series wasn't dragged out to the point that the situations get over the top, or I start to wonder why Laura doesn't change, or even worse, regresses. Confessions of a Shopaholic is another series that I absolutely love, but I have to admit some of the books that take place in America are just bad. Just plain bad. Becky has gone backwards in her character development, and in order to keep the conflict and stakes high, the plots become kind of atrocious in how unrealistic and outlandish they are. This does not happen in these two books. Sure, Tales from the Crib stretches the boundaries a little bit with her dad marrying a madame, but it works. Next up on things that I love about these series is Risa Green's writing style. I think she's extremely funny and does a great job with descriptions and dialogue. Her descriptions reveal enough to paint the picture that I need, but it's not needless or distracting. And on the dialogue front, I buy that these are conversations that would happen in real life. They feel realistic, move the plot forward, and don't sound too exposition-y, if that makes sense. I also love her relationship with her husband, Andrew. He drives Laura crazy at some points with his misunderstandings of the pop culture references, or just things he doesn't get. Like in Notes from the Underbelly. So page 6, she's meeting her husband. So this is when we're first introduced to Andrew. And they're at a doggy agility class that Andrew's really into. And Andrew is panting and out of breath by the time he reaches me. I swear, I'm going to put a muffle on this dog one day. I cock my head sideways. Do you mean a muzzle? He looks at me and thinks for a second. I have clearly thrown him for a loop. Is that what it's called? He asks. And I nod my head. Yes. Really? I roll my eyes at him. Andrew has only read something like 2 books in his entire life, and as a result, he can barely speak English. He's a really smart guy, but he sounds much dumber than he is because he's always messing up his idioms and getting words wrong. I stand up and grab the leash from him. It's so funny. And then in Tales from the Crib, page 194. So they're talking about their daughter. She's not slow, Andrew, I say through the foam of my toothpaste. I spit it into the sink. She might be a little behind, though. What? Andrew's head spins around so fast that I'm afraid it might keep going and break off. I can just picture it rolling across the floor, yelling at me for not breastfeeding longer. What are you talking about? See, the descriptions are funny. And again, just their relationship that they have. And then earlier in this book, on page 24, this part just kills me every time I read it. So Andrew has promised to get up with their daughter in the middle of the night when she's hungry or needs to be changed. So, as if on cue, the banshee noise begins, just a few minutes after 2 o'clock, and I gleefully kick Andrew in the leg. Get up, I say, perhaps with a tad too much sadism in my voice. It's your turn. He grunts at me and rolls out of bed, and I lie back down, smiling in the dark. He goes into Parker's room and picks her up, and then I hear him walk into the kitchen with her while she screams. Stupid, I think. He should have heated up the bottle first. Oh well, not my problem. I settle into my pillow. Okay, Lara, go back to sleep. But I can't sleep. The screaming in the kitchen is too loud, and now Andrew started singing to her, and I'm getting distracted because I can't figure out what song it is. Bump, 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 bump. What is that, I think? It sounds vaguely familiar. I listen to him, trying to match its tune to real music. Wait, I've got it. It's Safety Dance. He's singing Safety Dance to a 5-week-old. Okay, fine. Now I know what it is. Now I can go back to sleep. I close my eyes and try not to listen to him. S S S S A A A A F F F F T T T T Y Y Y Safety Dance. Bump 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 bump. Oh my god. I slam my hand down on the mattress, trying to control myself, but I just can't. I just can't. At the top of my lungs, I yell out across the house, E! Safety is spelled with an E! Thank you, he yells back sarcastically. Do you think she'll stop crying if I spell it right? Oh, screw him. I close my eyes again, and I start counting backward from 1,000. 999, 998, 997. I get to 756 when I realize I'm not going back to sleep. God damn it. 21 minutes later, Andrew is back in bed. You've got to be kidding me. As he rests his head on the pillow, I sit up, fuming in anger. What are you doing, I demand. He rolls over to look at me. I'm going back to sleep. What are you doing? I don't want to tell him what I've been doing. I've been lying in bed, wide awake, my eyes glued to the baby monitor, anxiously waiting for his suffering to commence. And I have also been practicing, in my head, exactly how I was going to word the "I told you she was an evil terrorist, now do you understand why I've been so miserable" speech that I fully intended to deliver once he came back from her room, and put his fist through the wall out of sheer frustration. But the suffering never came, and neither did the fist, or even the frustration. No, it went just as well as could be expected. He gave her the bottle, hummed Rockabye Baby to her, and practically dropped her into the crib, and she didn't so much as move a muscle. Again, not having kids, but I can totally understand that because that is probably how exactly I would be with my husband. Oh, and then there's one other one that I wanted to highlight. So this is going back to notes from the Underbelly, just about Andrew, her husband. So page 158. Even Andrew sucks. The only time that he's not completely oblivious to the fact that I'm pregnant is when it works to his advantage. He'll sit on the couch and watch football while I haul things up the stairs. But if someone inconveniences him, all of a sudden my pregnancy is magically in the forefront of his thoughts. Let me tell you, there is no one in the world who plays the pregnancy card better than Andrew. No one. His trick is to muster up all the indignation that he possibly can, and then act as if he's both morally outraged and deeply insulted that his wife is not being treated in a manner appropriate to her condition. He could win an Academy Award. His performances are so outstanding. If we're in line at the movies, it's, "Can't you see that my wife is pregnant? I don't think that she should have to stand in line when it's obviously putting a strain on her back. Can't you just let us in now?" If we're checking in for a flight, he'll tell the flight attendant, "My wife is pregnant. Are you really going to make her sit in a middle seat where she can't stretch her legs? Couldn't you just give us the bulkhead, or maybe bump us up to first class?" And if he needs to get out of something, forget it. "Tom, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it to dinner tonight. My wife is pregnant, and she's not feeling that well, so I'm going to stay home and take care of her." Yeah, right. The ridiculous thing, though, is that people buy it. If he's dealing with a man, the mere mention of the word pregnant is like a get-out-of-jail-free card. And if he's dealing with a woman, she'll invariably find his compassion and concern for me to be so sweet that her heart melts and she gives him whatever he wants on the spot. Personally, I find the entire thing to be revolting and totally unfair. I mean, here I am making a baby from scratch and suffering through the back pain and the swelling and the aching feet, but I never cash in on my chips because I'm always afraid of sounding like a whiny complainer. Meanwhile, my husband is out there getting all the sympathy and Man of the Year awards because he has no problem exploiting me. Honestly, it's no wonder that men rule the world. I love their relationship. I just think it's so funny. I also like her relationships with other people, like in Notes from the Underbelly, her relationship with Tick, or Victoria. So Lara works as a guidance counselor at LA prep school, and so she helps her students get into colleges. And with her relationship with Tick, it goes from begrudging so that Lara gets something out of helping Tick to eventually understanding her and her struggles and doing what's best for them both. Lara maintains her professional integrity and helps Tick understand why Lara did what she did. Essentially, Tick's father is famous, this is LA, and thus Tick is rebelling. If Lara makes Tick's parents happy, she can get a reduced schedule after the baby is born and get to work from home. Tick also hates how people treat her because of her father, but then really flips out on Lara when Tick doesn't hold up her end of the bargain by getting better grades, and Lara helps another student take the one open spot at Tick's #1 school. Victoria eventually does realize that Lara treated her just the way she was asking people to treat her, and she ends up growing and maturing, just as Laura matures and embraces her motherly instincts. In the second book, Tales from the Crib, Laura gets two unique relationships, one with her nanny Dolores and one with Nadine, who is her estranged father's new fiance and essentially a former pimp. Nadine ends up being a really cool character and has some true nuggets of wisdom and uses her connections to improve Laura's life while reminding Laura that she has all the power she needs to make her life better at any time. It's a message that I really enjoy going back to and just kind of realizing, like, okay, things are not going to spiral out of control. You still can make things the way you want them to be. Laura also has two best friends in both books, Stacy and Julie. And this was an interesting dynamic, as Stacy cannot stand Julie's perkiness and her overall easy existence, which only makes Julie try harder to get Stacy to like her, further annoying Stacy. I like them both, though Julie sometimes was kind of a brat, but she did also feel real, especially given like the setting and the way that Julie supposedly grew up. I truly enjoyed seeing a protagonist have some close relationships with her friends, where they do talk about real life issues, and the book definitely passes the Bechdel test. You know, these women are fully functioning adults who are just living their lives. They're not just obsessed with like minute, boy crazy details or anything like that. Like, it really felt like they were real friends. And I did enjoy seeing that, because I feel like sometimes some books bypass having the protagonist have other friends because they're going to make friendships with the other people they meet in the book. But it's like, does this person not have friends outside of this story? So I really enjoyed that aspect. All in, these are two of my favorite books that I absolutely love reading over and over again. I think they're hilarious. And again, whether or not you are a mother or have been pregnant or can relate to any of that, I still think they're great books. And I've actually recommended them to some of the mothers that are my friends, just because I'm like, okay, I may not understand what you're going through, but like, here's one of my favorite books that probably does. So have you read either Notes from the Underbelly or Tales from the Crib by Risa Green, or have you read any of her other work? If so, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on Books and Bubbly.